Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Two Dumb Yinzers show. We are in a heat wave. It is going to be a heat wave today. I warn you, it's going to be a heat wave. Mike, 50 degrees right here in Western Pennsylvania today. I can't even believe it. I got my t-shirt on. I'm ready. Mike, 50 degrees in February. Come on, man. You can't beat this.
You cannot. I'll take it. You know, I'm tired of the waking up every day at cold. I'm stiff. I'm sore. I'm cranky. No, give me a little bit of heat. Give me a
Yeah,
little bit of heat. I'm ready for it, man.
especially in February. I mean, you don't expect it, but you know what? You get some
Yeah.
50-degree days. You gotta just take it and roll with the punches. That's about where I'm at right now, man. But we are slowly but surely getting through this February. 4 more days, it'll be done. We'll be in March, and just one step closer to the NFL football season. That's the way I look at it.
Heck yeah, baby. It's the only thing that matters,
Good morning,
man.
everybody. Welcome. This is episode 697 of Two Dumb Yinzers. Welcome back, everybody. Good morning. Hope everybody had a great and safe weekend.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, baby. Um, I was watching some of the. Matter of fact, I watched the whole thing. I was watching the two cranky jagoffs on Friday night,
Uh-huh.
and they had a really cool thing. They did top 100 sports uniforms of all time, and it was like
Yeah.
baseball, football, basketball, hockey, and then there was even soccer as well. Ugh. But nonetheless, it was really good. There's a lot of cool uniforms over the years that I forgot about. Some of some of the favorites on there were like the Lakers and the Celtics,
Yeah.
the Yankees, all these classic uniforms. But I liked some of the baseball uniforms when I was a kid. If you remember the Astros, they had like that rainbow of
Yeah.
Astro
Yeah.
colors like across the
Yeah. Yeah.
bottom of their
Yeah.
jersey.
Yeah.
That was when I was little and we played baseball. That was what our uniforms looked like. Every team had that same look. If
Yeah.
you was the green, if your team was green, then you had all the different shades of green, so on and so forth. So I particularly like those. And another couple, Mike, that I did like back in the day. And you see them every once in a while. As a matter of fact, I see one last year. There was a period of time where the Cardinals and the Philadelphia Phillies both have blue uniforms, and I never understood what the reason was. But it was always like their away uniforms, and it was this shade of light blue that
Yeah.
really don't have any rhyme or reason to be on a Cardinals or Philadelphia uniform. But as a kid, these were this was just something I was used to seeing. And when they brought it up the other night, it hit home. I tell you what, hit
Yeah.
home. There was a lot of really cool ones. If you get a chance, do go check out the two cranky jagoffs from Friday night. Finch and Tim. They have. It was about 2 hours long. The show. It took. You figure if you do 100
Yeah.
uniforms, you're going to spend at least a minute per
On it.
uniform. You would
Yeah.
think, and that already puts you up over. So it was really good. Go check it out. It kept me, Mike. It kept me tuned in.
Yeah.
And I guess at the end of the day, that's the point, right?
That's all that matters, man. It keeps you tuned in, engaged, and entertained. And like like I texted Finch on the side, or I think I may even said it on the Discord. Maybe it was like I like the Penguins powder blue. I love that blue jersey that the Penguins wear, and then the San Diego Chargers. Every once in a while, when they bust out that powder blue one, that throwback, those are two of my favorite all times right there. And you can't beat them. There's a lot of really good jerseys out there, but there's also some hideous ones out there. Like my God, you go watch like lower tier European hockey. They are just like some of the ugliest uniforms I've ever seen in my life. Like I don't mind like sponsorship logos on jerseys, but they are like all over them. They look like
It's like a
NASCAR guys.
NASCAR. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what? That was a part of the conversation. The guys went on specifically
yep,
about powder blue color jerseys, and
yep,
those always are popular. I mean, look at North Carolina. Come on, who doesn't like a
yep.
North Carolina Tar Heel uniform? They did go on a little while about both of all those uniforms, but really
Yeah.
good stuff. Do go check them out
Yep, check
again
it out.
right here on our our YouTube page. Just go right down to the two cranky jagoffs. It was Friday, so just a couple days. You should be able to find it pretty easily if you go on over. So go check them guys out. They deserve it. Good show. Um, all right. So you have the seasonal milkshakes coming out
Yes.
with the Shamrock Shake, of course, going
Hmm.
into St. Patrick's Day. But did you see this one, Mike? Girl Scout cookie milkshakes at Wendy's. I guess
What?
they're trying to compete, I guess, with McDonald's with their Shamrock Shake. Wendy's, in fact, has a Girl Scout milkshake, like a Girl Scout cookie milkshake.
Yeah.
I mean, I can imagine that would be pretty good. Listen, I'm not a mint guy, but every once in a while, one of these kind of drinks from a McDonald's or Wendy's, they hit the
Yeah.
spot.
I like the Shamrock Shake. I go and get that one at least once or twice a year when they come out. The Girl Scout one, it all depends on which flavor it's going to be.
You almost think that would have to be the mint, right? I mean, that's what people think of when they think of Girl
Yeah,
Scout cookies.
yeah. But the Thin Mint ones, to me, that cookie, it tastes like chalk.
But
What I would imagine eat.
wouldn't that make sense though, being that it's coming up on St. Patrick's Day, that's what it would be?
That would be that's what that would make sense.
I mean, that's
But
just what I assume. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. I was partial to the which cookie was it? The Sonoma cookie or the Samoa, the coconut and caramel. That was my jam. Yeah, Sonoma. No, I worked at a company. We had a brand called Sonoma.
I was going to say, you worked in retail a little too long.
Yeah, and people would call it Samoa. I'm like, it's not the Girl Scout cookie.
So I would assume that, out of the 30 different kind of Girl Scout cookie, it's probably safe to say it's probably the Thin Mint. But I don't know. I don't know. I haven't had it. I can't say for sure, but that would make sense. Nonetheless, guys. Also, what else do we got around the league here? Mike, yes. Here's one. The New York Yankees update their policy. After 1 million years, the guys are now allowed to have facial hair. It has to be kept.
Yeah.
But come on, for the Yankees, this is like putting color into a Penn State uniform. It's bizarre that you're going to see guys out there in a Yankee uniform with the pinstripes with facial hair.
Yeah. I like it. I always thought it was a stupid rule, but I understand, that was their rule, it was their tradition. It's weird when a tradition is broken. It's going to be weird seeing, guys out there with beards on the Yankee uniform, but you know what? I'm cool with it because I always thought it was a stupid rule. But for people who grew up with it and are used to it, I understand that's going to be a shock out there. It's like, oh my God, it's an end of an era. The Yankee Empire is falling apart.
Yeah. So there you go. Beards on the Yankees.
Beards on the Yankees.
The world is coming to an end.
Yeah.
And I know this, and I'm going to tell you why. The Pittsburgh Pirates, Mike. The Pirates. Somebody I just saw yesterday put $250 on the Pirates to win the World Series.
Oh,
you could win you could win like 25,000, I guess.
Yeah.
If you would bet 250. It made me think, Mike, is it time that we go get our World Series tickets, or is it a little too early to say still? Mike, the Pittsburgh Pirates do win both their first 2 preseason games this year. It's still early. Yes, I know this. But on Saturday, they beat the Orioles 10-5, and yesterday they beat the Twins 5-1 to go 2-0 in preseason. Mike, they're back at it today against the Philadelphia Phillies. That game is at 1:05 today. Mike, is it safe to say we could go out and buy our World Series tickets with this killer pitching rotation?
With this killer pitching rotation, with Henry Davis going to bat, 500 this year and drive in 7,500 runs this year, yes, go and get those tickets. We're going to have that 18-year-old out there, it's hitting the cover off the ball, flying around the base path. Paul Skeens is not going to lose a game. He's going to be, the first pitcher ever to win 40
you're being silly, but let's be serious for a minute. I mean, does this team, Mike, because you think of back at the Arizona Diamondbacks when they won the World Series.
Yeah.
It was Randy Johnson, Kurt Schilling, and a bunch of guys.
Yeah.
I mean, is it possible that this team can capitalize from possibly having one of the best rotations in the league, which is unbelievable to even say and think? But all you got to do is just go out there and score a couple runs. I mean, I wouldn't think that, tearing the cover off the ball is something this team needs to focus on. Just get enough runs to win, because you have, again, possibly, Mike, from top to bottom, the best rotation in the league. I mean, I guess it's arguable, but
yeah,
all you got to do with the situation you're in is score a few runs. It's not. They're Major League Baseball players. What's the problem?
But we see what happens. Like Paul Skeens will come out in the 7th, 8th inning, and then the bullpen blows it. That's just what happens with this team. So on paper, I love that argument. It's a sound argument. We do have one of the better pitching staffs in the league, but it's like once you get to that bullpen, I don't trust them, and I don't trust that offense to score a handful of runs. How many games did we see pitchers lose? You know, they were winning 2-1 when they leave and the final score is 7-1. It's or 7-2. So I just don't trust this.
Mike, let me
I just
cut you
don't
off
trust
real
this
quick.
lineup.
Mike, let me cut you off real quick. I don't know why, but we're not getting messages on
Yeah,
the
I just
board.
noticed that too. We're not getting it on the board. I was going to mention that real quick. I'm sorry as well. I don't know what happened. It's got to be something in the settings. I'll have to switch after the show. I can't do it right now. Something happened. But yeah, I got them up on the YouTube board, and you want to catch up? I can catch up with them. Yeah, so we got Good Morning Ron.
Yeah,
Good
let me get
Caleb. Yeah.
Hold on. Stop.
Yeah.
Let me just get to where at least we're on the same page
Okay.
here.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, here we are, guys.
There
Let's
we
just
go. Sorry about
good
that,
morning,
guys.
Ron. Over enthusiastic. Maud Caleb says the Islanders Gordon Fisherman jerseys look better. You know what? I do like those. It's an interesting patch. I like that.
They were so bad they're good. They
No,
crossed
they're
over.
not. Those aren't bad. They got the
I used to hate him, but he's right. They've grown on me over time.
I just didn't like him because it was a team that was in our division. But when you look at the uniform, it's a nice patch. I thank you, Ron. I appreciate that, sir. He complimented my beard. Also,
Yeah, I
Dirk
want to go
says
that
I just
far.
wanted to stop. No, it says your beard is mint, Ryan. Come on, you tell me what could be better about this beard, Mike? Come on, with that little merkin that you have on your chin there.
I know,
Tell me
right?
what's wrong with this beard.
We
says,
might want to get you some just for men.
I don't want I don't want just for men. This is me. I'm a natural kind of guy.
Yeah.
Derpy Entertainment. I just wanted to stop by and say I do apologize, everyone, and I indeed already did get my Shamrock shake. Well, we're hoping you feel better there, buddy. Drink your milk and your milkshake and just take it easy. No one's rushing you or anything like that. Just get better. Jen says, good morning. Hi, Derpy. I hope you're feeling better. Derpy says to Jen, he says, hi, Jen. Thanks, but the diagnosis isn't the best. It was the flu, and now I got it worse. But thanks. I'm trying to my best to get better. Apparently, Derpy was sick with the flu. He got better, and then he got the flu again. So we're all hoping that Derpy does get better. That stinks. Ron also says, get well, Derpy. Jen says, I'm so sorry. Take care of yourself. We'll be here when you feel better. And also over enthusiastic Maud Caleb says, get well, Derpy, as well. We're all thinking about you, Derpy.
All thinking about you, Derp.
Of course, everybody knows that Derpy is due to get his award, Mike, for the picks. So we're going into March. So, when Derpy gets his Permani Brothers, I don't know, but we're all pulling for you, buddy. Get better.
Yeah, buddy.
Let's see. Let's get into some football talk.
Oh yeah, baby. That's what I'm here for.
You want some good news? Here's some good news, guys. The Combine, NFL Combine, in 4 days. The franchise tag deadline, 9 days. Free agency, 17 days. The draft, 60 days. The schedule release, 80 days. Training camp, 143 days. Preseason, 165 days. In the 2025 season, guys, in 193 days. We're chipping away at it slowly but surely. The one that really got my attention was again, Combine starts later this week. Free agency deadline the franchise tag deadline is 9 days next week. And then free agency is the one that I'm looking forward to, Mike. Just 17 days, a little over 2 weeks from right now. We will be getting ready to jump into the NFL free agency frenzy, which we've been able to enjoy the past couple of years because our front office has gone after people, Mike, on free agency. So I'm super excited to see who we get. A lot of needs, but I got to tell you, Mike, I don't understand this. I don't understand why you go out and you work on with all the needs that all the needs that we have on the offensive side of the ball. We go out and get somebody in a position that we are actually deep in by going out over the weekend and getting Donald Parham Jr., the 6'8" tight end. Mike, again, it's early off season. This could be nothing, but still, if everything that you need, the one thing that you don't, I would say, would be the tight end on the offensive side of the ball. What's the move? You just go out and you get a 6'8" guy. You already have a
Yeah.
6'7" guy. What are they building an NBA? What are they doing here, Mike? What's the thought
Well,
process?
Michael Pruitt's contract is, he's a free agent, so he won't be coming back. Connor Hayward really isn't giving you a whole lot of option, and this guy, he has better NFL production uh, than Connor Hayward did. So he'd fit in and he'd be your third tight end. And I think he was already like a practice squad guy. So he's like one of those guys you're able to
Mike,
sign.
we don't even use our tight ends enough. What are they talking about needing a third tight end for?
You need them, and then there's like a depth piece. You got to round out your roster. So you do that now. Start now getting round out the roster of spots that you need that aren't high priority. You get it in, you get it done, so it's over with. So you can focus on getting that wide receiver, getting that quarterback, getting that corner, getting maybe a new defensive lineman. Get the small stuff out of the way so you can focus on the big stuff. Because
Mike, it almost reminds me, Mike, of the New England team that had both Gronk and who was the killer?
Hernandez. Yeah.
It almost, because they were just two monsters. Yeah. So it's like we have that without the skill set. We got the two big, huge tight ends. But now if we could match the skill set of those two guys, we'll be in great shape. But again, Mike, I mean, top to bottom, we need a lot. And it's even bleeding over the defense now. Where early on the theme was, we need a lot of skill positions on offense, and that doesn't change. But, I mean, the defensive side of the ball, we could have some issues here as well in the secondary and on the defensive line. So, I mean, it surprised me. I was shocked to see that what they went out and did get was a tight end. But at the end of the day, they know what they're doing, right?
Oh, yeah, because you need to round out the roster. And he was a guy from the practice squad. So we can actually start signing those guys that have – because free agency in the new doesn't start until – well, like the 6 or not like 17 more days. So guys are technically still have contracts. We're not allowed to talk to them. That's tampering. So we can get guys like this that are street free agents that really aren't tied to a team to round out roster spots that we're eventually going to need. We need someone on special teams at the end of the line. That's what that third, fourth tight end is for, and that's what this guy will be.
Let me catch up with a couple of these messages here. Derpy said that was a good question. Intro Caleb. Okay, let me see. Right here is where we are. Get well, Derpy. Will Derpy make it back before the show is bought off by Netflix? That is, you know what? I think we have a Roman Wilson situation here with Derpy. There's no answer. There's no sight end in sight to this. Ron says Parham has been very injury prone. He reminds me of just by what and I don't know a lot about him. He reminds me of that Eric Ebron.
Yeah.
I see somebody that doesn't look like they have a whole lot of talent. They look like they're pretty physical and pretty athletic, but I don't know. Again, I guess follow what Mike's saying because I didn't understand the move. Derpy says Stafford is off the list reportedly. Apparently he wants around $50 million. That's interesting because if you go to if you type in Steeler news on Google, it says we're more interested in Stafford now than we ever were on some of the articles. So just that's just interesting. I don't know what that's all about. And then also, and Jen says, I thought the same thing when I saw the announcement. Ryan, why another tight end? I think that's one of the easiest positions to fill at this point. Maybe they're just, like Mike said, kind of getting it out of the way because you have to have the depth. But, there's still a lot of offseason to go. I don't know. They could not have him by the end of the by time season's ready, and it could be somebody else. It's tough to say. But again, that was the one that shocked me. I thought tight end. 52
well,
tight
that's
ends.
like
and we don't use any of them. So I mean, this makes us even more mind-boggling.
Okay, well, how about so we don't use the tight end? We'll get rid of Freiermuth, Darnell, and Connor to just have no tight ends on the team. So we don't use them.
Why would we do that?
We don't use them.
Well, we don't use them.
So we can just get rid of them. Save that space.
Well, we got Parham. We'll be safe.
Oh, we can get rid of him too.
Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith is on the bottom half of play callers. Mike, what's your opinion on Arthur Smith? My opinion is this. I think that it's, and I don't want to go into this because I don't want to start this whole Tomlin thing up, but I'm convinced, Mike, that he only hires people that can't show him up, that won't show him up. And I just think that everybody that we get as coordinators have been poor decisions. I mean, Matt Canada, let's start there. Mike Tomlin, this is a guy who says, quote, mediocrity is not an option here. That's a lie. Mediocrity is an option here. Mike Tomlin says, we will not tolerate anything less than excellence. That is a lie. We tolerate everything besides excellence here. Mike, Arthur Smith, is this going to be one of these things where we're just going to have to let play out for a season or two? Or is he going to be the saving grace of this team and put together an offense? And again, a lot of people always go back to that Tennessee Titan team, but you know what? You can't do that. They had a thing going. They built that team for a while. You had Derrick Henry. They had a thing, and it was kind of their time to do what they did. They didn't do anything great. They didn't win a Super Bowl. So, you know, people that often refer back to the time that he coached, he was a coordinator in Tennessee. I'm getting tired of hearing it.
Yeah, and what they're going to do, they're going to point to the success that the Eagles had of like, hey, you ran like a similar style offense, run the ball, and then, you know, do your short little passes inside and out, and then you hit the eventual deep ball. But, you know, the difference is, you know, they have Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith. You know, we got George Pickens, Najee Harrison, no one else on the outside. You know, they're able to run an offense like we want to run, be able to run the ball, hit those big strikes, but and control the clock with the quick, short passing game. That's kind of like that's the Arthur Smith offense. But the thing is, though, you know, they have a quarterback, a running back, and a wide receiver over there, and they have a damn good offensive line too. So,
who was our offensive coordinator back in the day? I mean, it feels like the same thing. It feels like we're running the 80s.
Yeah, like a Ron Earhart type offense.
It's so predictable. It's so pathetic, and teams are coming out. And they're not even keeping it a secret anymore. Hey, let's keep this a secret. We know what the Steelers are going to do. Let's go out and use it. No, everyone is openly expressing how predictable and how easy it is to play the Steelers. And, you know, anybody that's anybody beat us. And the other teams that aren't really there, they're not really there yet. So, I mean, anybody that knows and anybody that's a good football team, like, so, I mean, that has to change, right?
That has to change. And we have to be not afraid to attack the middle of the field. That's how you can open up more of those outside plays that we want to run, that toss sweep that we keep running. Well, teams know you're not doing anything in the middle of the field, so they're going to always protect everything out wide. Same thing in the passing game. They know everything is going to be outside the numbers, nothing in between the numbers.
Mike, is it because of the coordinator, or is this because of the quarterback, or is this because of the overall offense?
Yes, and yes.
I think it's all three.
Yes, and yes.
And if that's the case, Mike, this is not good at all. We're talking about, well, we need a somebody to replace Najee. That's not even, listen, that's not even on the page. Mm-hmm. We are so far outside of where we need to be right now. If we're saying that it's the coordinator's fault, if we're saying that it's the quarterback's fault, if we're saying that it's the offense entirely, what gives? And how, Mike, how do you turn this ship? Because unless they make huge moves this offseason, we're going to be looking at a 9-7 or 10-7 season, 9-8 season next year. And I can't imagine how it could be any better.
No, we'll end up finishing with the same exact record. Like you said, 9-8, 10-7. We're going to be right back where we are. We're going to be stuck in this trend of a mid-tier team that makes the playoffs and out in the first round. You know, you can't be afraid to turn the ball over. I understand, you know, turnover skill, but you can get some very good, dynamic, explosive plays when you attack the middle of the field. You know, quick slants, you know, multiple crossing routes, you know. You have quick receivers in, you know, a Calvin Austin. You hit him across the middle on a crossing route. He can turn outfield and go the distance. We saw George Pickens. My God, when Mason Rudolph came in, they allowed him to throw across the middle of the field, hitting those quick slants, you know, at the end of 2 seasons ago. We saw some this year. You hit those quick slants, you're gone. Jerry Rice was one of the slowest receivers ever, and he became one of the greatest of all time because he understood
slowest receivers.
Well, he wasn't a burner, but and same thing, Hines Ward.
He was fast.
Yeah, you hit those quick slants and they beat you on the angles and they're gone. That's what this offense needs. But they don't want to throw the ball across the middle because they don't want turnovers. Like you let Ben throw across the middle all the time. If you got turnovers, oh well, guess what? You had a defense to shut them down, and then you go right back to that offense, and you're going to get a touchdown. You know, you got to be able to trust the quarterback. I don't care who it is. Let them go back there. If they throw interceptions, oh, well, you know, let's get that defense out there to, you know, stop them. You're paying that defense so much. You got to let that offense. You got to let that offense.
To the next point, Mike, because Ron on the board says, don't forget it's the defense in the playoffs that always sucks. So everything that we're saying, we haven't even touched the defensive problems yet. This list of problems that we just named on the offensive side of the ball that we need to address. That's not even mentioning that we've let up more points in the last 5 postseason games than they let up all season that particular season. So last season, how many we ever let up? That's the most that they let up. It's unbelievable, Mike. The highest paid defense. This is what I'm saying. We got a lot of problems, and people are going to pick one thing to talk about, and all this is that. Bro, the list from the top to bottom just does not look good. They have to figure something out. I'm just not sure they have the personnel that can figure it out, Mike.
Pick a position.
They haven't shown any signs.
Pick a position group on this team, and tell me there's not a hole. Quarterback, running back, wide receiver, O-line, D-line, linebackers.
I think the linebackers are safe.
Yeah.
I think by losing Preston Smith, but you're going to bring somebody else in anyway.
You got to start there. You got depth. That might be the only position on this team. And
special teams and linebackers.
That's it. That is it. And you have good players in some of those positions, but we need wide receiver. You got George Pickens. Running back, you got Najee Harris, Jalen Warren.
There's 5 or 6 wide receiver positions. Even if you have one all-star, super pro, all-pro, it means nothing if you have one of 6. I mean, that's nothing. Because let's show you. We're going to have to go to this guy if we want a big play. What's defense to say? Oh, they're going to go to this guy because they need a big play. Once again, predictable.
And then you have a good tight end, but you don't want to throw to him because that would require him to be going across the middle of the field. And you got Mount Washington who can – you just throw a jump ball to him. He should be able to out jump anyone. So there's talent there, but it's not more. We need more. And I like the last 2 draft classes of free agency that we've had with the full control of Weedle and Omar Khan, but they're still so far away. So
and Mike, if a team has 2 tight ends like we have,
you should be unstoppable.
They would use them. We don't even hit our tight ends good.
We were for the longest time. Remember, we would start games hitting those little quick outs to Darnell Washington, getting 5, 6, 7, 8 yards. And then we stopped. It was after week 10, we just stopped doing all the things that were working for us. And
Yinzer Joe says, I think they are canning Little Hayward, Connor Hayward, and Pruitt. Yeah, I believe that's the case as well. I do want to say good morning to everybody as well. We had a little confusion on the board. I don't know what's going on, but we can't see it on the screen, but everybody
they got it on YouTube. Yeah, they can see it.
Also, over enthusiastic mod Caleb says we are riding the short passes to our nearest Arthur Smith dealership for the brand new 2025 Yinzer Mobile. Low gas mileage on the way to the 9-8 Steelers Super Bowl. And Ron says, don't forget, it's the playoffs that always. I'm sorry, the defense that always sucks in the playoffs. All valid, very, very valid points. On the board.
Yeah, and you look who are the prime, suspects when that defense collapses in the playoffs? Cam Hayward and T.J. Watt. Who are your 2 highest played players on the team? Cam Hayward and T.J. Watt.
Well, it's the Pittsburgh way. There's 2 teams right now. It's having 3 teams. It's having terrible playoff success in Pittsburgh. At least 2 of them are playing by the same rules. They're all going to keep the crowd, the fan favorite around for who knows how long, because they believe that's what's putting asses in the seat. I think people still show up to the Steelers games and Penguins games if you do cut some of that fat. I don't know. Call me crazy. I think people are still going to go. But look at what happens when you do go through a bad time. That allows you to get weapons that create a long, good time. But again, whether it be by purpose or accident, Mike, it's due. We're so due to have a bad season. And it's just all these things. I don't know why. Year after year after year after year, it's the same thing. And then I also just seen this, Mike, as well in the headlines of the Steeler News. Steelers are not as happy with Justin Fields as they're making people believe. I didn't go into the article, but that is just one thing that I did notice. It did say that they're not as happy or excited about Justin Fields as people believe right now. Mike, I was
gonna say, because I heard differently from on the listening to the radio to beat reporters saying they like what's going on. They like what the Steelers like what they saw in practice, the way that he carried himself through everything, and the way he kept.
They have no accountability on the radio. That's the problem. They just say shit,
Well,
and
you know,
I'm
no,
sorry.
no,
Go
no.
ahead.
I'm just saying, like right now, this time of the year, you're going to find so many conflicting and different reports. It's like, where's
Yeah.
the truth actually lie? Because when you said that, it just made me chuckle. Like, because I think you and I have talked about that off the air. It's like this time of the
And
year,
with
you're just
Matthew
gonna you
Stafford,
don't
that
know
we
who to
just said at the
believe.
beginning of
Yeah,
the, like Matthew Stafford, just at the beginning of
yeah,
the show. Derpy said they don't want him, and I just read that they are
yeah,
more interested. But anyway, that's
yeah,
beside the point. Nobody really cares. I'm just saying that But Mike, let's check this out. T.J. Watt, get this. Last week that we were talking about the 101 best
yeah,
NFL players from the 2024
yeah.
season, Mike, T.J. Watt came in at number 9. And again, this is according to PFF, so do what you want with that. But number 9, Mike, in the top 101 players of the NFL 2024 season, he is the only player. Get this. Say what you want about the way that he plays the run. But TJ Watt was the only player with a 90-plus grade in both run defense and pass rush. Mike, how is TJ Watt I don't even want to say the only player that has both of
Yeah.
those. I just want to say, how does he even get that high in the run defense at all?
I
Did you see that? Did you see dominant run play, Mike, to where this statistic would make sense to you?
No. I saw like the game where he had the 2 punches out against I forget who it was against, the 2 punch outs for fumbles in the goal on the goal line. Okay, those were great run stuffing plays. He made looping plays around, but they weren't consistent. They weren't all the time. He wasn't a big run stuffer, and no, so it doesn't make sense. He shows flashes of it that he can do it, but no, get the hell out of here. No, he was after, I won't say after that first Baltimore game, him and everyone else, you can see their production dropped. So up until that point,
And let me ask you this.
if they stopped doing their ratings at that point, yeah, I would say, yeah, he was a top 10 player.
And let me ask you this. You know what? Yeah, no. Listen. What a top. And okay, this is kind of where I'm going.
Yeah.
Number 9 overall. You're telling me that there was only 8 players in the whole entire NFL that had a better season than TJ Watt this year, according to what this list is telling me. This is the top 101 players from 2024. Mike, that tells me that only 8 guys in the whole league had a better season than TJ Watt.
And no. God, no.
Why when we deserve the attention, we don't get it? But then when we don't deserve it, like this is what they'll go on and on and on about. Come on, I mean, we all watch the games. TJ, the maybe a little bit better the run defense this year than it was last year. But Mike, only 8 guys in the whole league better than TJ Watt this year. I don't know.
No tackles against Cincinnati, no tackles in the playoff games. 2, 3, 4 tackles here, 0 hurry, 0 pressures, 0 sacks. No, he dropped off big time after that.
Former defensive player of the year with no stat line.
Yeah, he dropped off big time.
Again, we're not trying to listen. The goal isn't to come here and talk shit on the Steelers. The goal is just to figure out what the hell the problem is. We're all sitting around season to season wondering why it always ends the same way, and that's all we're doing. Again, I love the Steelers, and I hope we win the Super Bowl next year. But it comes down to it's just got to be real sometime. And this is what I'm seeing. But one thing that I did see, Mike, also was Deshaun Elliott.
Now,
111 attempts or tackle opportunities, and he nailed 108. He got 108 tackles on 111 tackle opportunities in 2024. He had a 97.3 tackle efficiency. And since 2018, so since 2018 in the minimum 100 tackle opportunities. So basically he was one of the best, Mike, one of the best tacklers. Is he one of the best pickups that we've picked up over the past couple of years?
Yeah, he if he comes back, he's under contract next year, definitely. Yeah, if he can produce the same way, and if we extend him out, he can be on that James Ferrier type, free agent pickup, or of one of the best signings of all time in Steeler history. Right now, I already put him. He might be behind James Ferrier, and
he loves it here.
Oh yeah, he loves it here. He loves the way the Steelers play. They're supposed to play defense. This guy, should have been a Pittsburgh Steeler from get go. He plays the game the right way, hard, fast, physical, and yeah. I just give me this guy year in, year out now. This was Omar Khan's best signing. Um, he played the way we all thought Patrick Queen would have played. And I'm happy with it.
Yeah, ain't that the
I'm
truth?
happy with his production. I think it was one of the steals of free agency.
Yinzer Joe says, I'm trying to put bank on the fact that Andy Weedle developed Philly and is trying to do the same to Pittsburgh. And Mark Malone says, Watt power, Watt power, Watt power. That's kind of what we're banking on too. As I said, I mean, the free agency the past 2 seasons have certainly been, more active than they generally are in with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I mean, it's not because they're not making moves. I got to tell you that. You look at the players we brought last year. I was confident.
Mhm.
I thought, geez, we had a decent draft. We got a couple young guys, and during free agency, we brought in some players. I mean, the moves we made last year in the offseason, bringing in a Hall of Fame quarterback, and both him and Justin Fields, that was totally uncharacteristic of anything that the Steelers have done. In the 40 some years of my life. So I think that they're probably on the right path. I don't know, Mike. Is it? Let me ask you this:
Yeah.
Is it ultimately all going to come back to eventually the head coach?
Yeah.
Because if the offense is or if the offense is doing everything that they need to
Mhm.
do, and the players, you just look at the results. That's all you can really do is look at the results for the last 8 years and look at what's going on in what the players are doing on the field with different groups of guys every year. It has to come back on the coach at
It
some
has to.
point. And if
Yeah.
that's the case, is this ever going to get fixed? Because again, it seems that he's going to have the free ride ticket for as long as he
Yeah.
wants.
Yeah. And he won't be fired or let go until his contract expires. And then okay, what if he has, that last year of the contract goes out and has a great year and they, win a couple playoff games. Okay, then you extend them. And then okay, now is that going to continue like that trend of the team extending upward, or are we going to fall right back to 9 and 8, 10, 7? Yeah.
It's not looking good. And as I said again, Mike, I have a list over here that if you look at Super Bowl 1 through 10, 11 through
Yeah.
20, 21 through 30, this is the first decade that the Steelers, if we don't go to the Super Bowl this year, this will be the first 10-year period of time that the Steelers were not involved in a Super Bowl. There was the 90s, we lost. There was,
Yeah.
every single decade, Mike, we were involved in some capacity. If we do not make the Super Bowl this year, this will be the first time since the Super Bowl
Yeah.
began of a 10-year period that we have not had any involvement in the in a decade.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, because from 80 to 95 was 15 years, but they're both in their own decade. So we did, in fact, have a Super Bowl appearance in every single decade, Mike, except for this past one. So that I don't know. Again, who's it come down to? Mike, also, finally, Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett will be back in the Berg. He's going to be coaching the Blue Gold game for the Pitt Panthers coming up. The football team, of course. They said also another Philadelphia Eagle will be the other coach. I'm thinking it's probably going to be Devontae Maddox
Yeah.
just because he was a Pitt Panther as well. They didn't announce it, Mike, but Super Bowl champion Kenny Pickett coming back to coach his college football team in the Blue
There you
Gold
go.
game.
There you go, Kenny.
Things are happening
Oh
for
yeah.
Kenny.
He's falling upwards, baby. He's falling up the
What's
steps.
so weird about Kenny? I mean, he could come to town and go to Oakland and be a
Yeah.
hero. But as soon as he steps out of
Yeah, I know.
Oakland, it's like,
Everyone's like, "Get the
everybody,
hell out of here." This guy.
yeah.
Like real quick, back to like the free agent signings and they're like Con and Weedle. Don't forget like Isaac Seumalo, a Landon Roberts before he got hurt, Cole Holcomb. So there's been some really good hits in there at the starting level. So that's what gives me confidence with Weedle and Omar Khan is like they seem to be identifying talent and getting some good bargains. Hopefully this year we won't have the bargain shop because we actually have cap space.
Yidra Joe says, no, Art won't get rid of the head coach ever. They'll pin it on development coaches or maybe even Weedle or Cohen, which is a shame. And at the end of the day, I mean, if that's the case, that's going to blow. And we're just going to have to sit here and say, no, here comes another average season at best. Let's enjoy Steeler football, which sucks. But again, maybe, Mike, maybe, if you don't want to fire your coach or get rid of him, maybe try to hire again a little bit higher
Yeah.
quality
Yeah.
coordinators. I think that would be the next natural move if you're again not interested in or considering
Yeah.
firing your head coach or getting rid of him.
Like,
I think that you have to again upgrade
yeah, and
coordinators.
that's where the owner actually needs to step in and be like, realize that, hey, I'm the one who owns this team. I'm the one who has final say on anything and everything. I'm the one who can make the big sweeping changes, but he's an ineffective owner. You know, he's not his dad. He is not Dan Rooney. Dan Rooney would have, made sure, we had quality assistant coaches, made sure we were making smart moves in the draft and free agency.
I couldn't agree with you more. Things have to change. I mean, at the end of the day, nobody loves
No.
change, but it's the
Yeah.
business. If something happens that you don't like, and you chalk it up, it's the business, and you move on. But let's see what else we got here, Mike. Plexico Burris makes history by selling his Super Bowl ring for $280,000, beating out Lawrence Taylor, also a New York Giant, when he won his ring as well, who had the record where he sold his ring for $230,000. Mike Plexico Burris, $280,000. Just being a sports guy, I would never, ever. Listen. I get it. If you need the money,
Yeah.
you need the money. But if you chose to live in luxury, and then you're starting to sell off
Yeah.
things, and that's just not me personally. I guess you could do whatever you want. But Mike, that's a Super Bowl
Yeah.
ring. That's as far as the pinnacle of sports in the
Yeah.
United States of America. That's do you get rid of your Super Bowl ring under any circumstance if you had one?
If I need,
I
I
would.
would if I needed the money, because I know I was there. I know I made the game-winning touchdown, like Plex said. You can't take that away from me. You can take away the symbol of what it was, but you're not going to take away what I actually did.
What you work
Yeah.
for.
Yeah, you
I
work
mean,
for it to win the Super Bowl, and you get that ring it's that commemorates that what you did, but it still doesn't take away the achievement of what you did. I understand, like, I don't know if I could, but if I really needed the money,
I
I
wouldn't.
might
There'd be
have
no
to.
way. I would go poor before I sold my Super Bowl ring. I would. That's just I
Yeah.
respect sports like that, and I would not ever give a Super Bowl ring up. Nothing else you could do. You can't get a job. I mean, come on,
Yeah, I know,
something.
right?
I don't know what Plex is
Like,
up to
I know,
these days.
like, he
Go
was
do
on,
something.
like, one of the, like, the pregame show, and he was really good at it for a while there, so I don't know. Unless, like, he has so much more debt, because, my God, people probably have seen, like, what, 5-10 years ago, they had the 30 for 30 on ESPN about every athlete in every sport that goes bankrupt. So it's not a shock that, another pro athlete went bankrupt. But my God, you were working in the sports media for a while. You should have a nice little nest egg saved up somewhere, but bad,
I don't
bad.
think these guys are learning
Yeah.
when they're in college, Mike. They go to college. You're a superstar.
Mhm.
Everybody loves you. And then you leave
Yeah.
early. You go to the pros. Maybe they should teach these guys how to handle money and manage
Yeah.
money, because so many guys, Mike, go
Uh-huh.
broke that
Dude.
makes millions of dollars.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody go and paycheck, but these guys just don't know how
Yeah.
to manage life. All right?
No, and at the end of that documentary, they were showing every athlete from the NBA, the NFL, MLB, NHL, the Big Four in the US, and it was just page after page after page of players, and some of them were all-time greats that were filing for bankruptcy in every single sport. It's like, my God, how could you blow through all that money? I understand some of them bad business deals. Others, you want to show up the next guy next to you. You get that flashy lifestyle. You want to one up, and you think that gravy train's going to keep running forever and ever. And it's not. And a lot of them, they're not taught how to plan for the future. That's like you got someone like Marshawn Lynch. Like, he's never touched any of his game checks. He lived off of his signing bonus and endorsement deals. He was like, no, I ain't going
That's the
broke.
way to do it.
Yeah,
That's the
like
way to
Gronk
do it.
did
He
the
wants to
same.
be
I think Saquon's doing the same. There's
Yeah, you go to the
living
NFL, Mike,
modestly.
and you play pro sports because you love it, but
Yeah,
ultimately it's your job and your career, and
yeah,
you make a lot of money.
yeah,
And the fact that they're mishandling their money,
yeah,
it's such a high rate
yeah.
is what's alarming. And again,
Mhm.
the guys coming out of college after a year, 2 years, maybe they should take a class while they're
Yeah,
there
yeah.
to figure out how to handle money.
Yep.
I'm just trying to find
That's
a list that I had here real quick.
I was gonna say real quick. I know like AJ Brown, people were making fun of him because of like the house he lived in. It's like a modest, like maybe like $100,000-$200,000 house in the area that he lives in. Yeah,
Modest.
I know, modest, but for someone like of making that much money, he was like, no, it's just it does what I need. I think it was AJ Brown, one of the Eagles, and it was just like it was either him or it was a dominant receiver in the NFL, makes a shit ton of money. Like, nah, it fits my needs for what I need. I'll have money later on in life.
So, we're saying that, giving up the ring, selling the ring is something that you might need to do if you need money. Mike, this is a list of the top 10 greatest players in NFL history that never even got a ring.
Yeah.
Mike, these guys would love to have their ring. Number 10 all time in this particular list, Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson, Mike, one of the greatest running backs, I think you could argue, of all time, no ring. Number 9, one of the best, number for number in what he put out on the field, the defensive end, J.J. Watt, Mike, never won a ring. Number 8, two-time MVP of the league, runs the number 1 offense, seems from year to year if he's not injured. Lamar Jackson, Mike, number 8 on this for never winning the ring. Still early for him. Eric Dickerson. Eric Dickerson, Mike, one of the better running backs of all time. Never won a ring. Larry Fitzgerald, I think could go pound for pound with any receiver in NFL. Never won a ring. Another running back, Mike. Another LT, though. This LT, LaDainian Tomlinson, the former running back, he never won a ring. Down to the last 4 guys. Number 4, Tony Gonzalez, Mike. The Kansas City Chiefs' success comes late for Tony Gonzalez. Of course, when he was here, they never did win it, and he never did get a ring. Also, Mike, number 3, wide receiver Randy Moss, arguably one of the best receivers of all time. When all said and done,
Plexico's the one. Plexico making the game-winning catch is the one who kept the Patriots and Randy Moss from winning that ring. Funny how that works.
That's right. Number 2, Barry Sanders. Again, arguably one of the best all time, Mike. Never won a ring. And finally, the one that I'm getting tired of hearing, just because where we're from. Right? I don't know if everybody hears this, but Dan Marino, of course, number 1, best quarterback that's never won a ring. You know what? I'm always a bit suspicious of somebody if they're a Dolphins fan. I just am.
Right? Why are you a Dolphin? Especially like people in our area.
You're right. And it's, I understand the Marino thing if it was 1983, but it's 2025. Right. Not getting it. Let me jump on a couple of these on the board. Overenthusiastic Mod Caleb says you can't eat a Super Bowl ring when your money is gone. He also says a former NFL player told him that once. Ron Navy, they do put all the rookies through a financial education. Boy, they're terrible at it, though. I mean, is there accountability for the people that teach them because they're failing miserably? Also, Yinzer Joe says Plexco declared a business bankruptcy, not personal. Money was for a heritage foundation. But again, listen, I tell you this: if I had millions of dollars, I wouldn't go bankrupt. I promise you. I promise you.
I would.
Because you wouldn't. You do fine now.
No, I would blow so much money. I would.
You're going to tell me that you would be broke? You would spend all that? I think you're crazy.
I probably would.
I think that you're a smart enough person. Mike, I think you're a smart enough person. I think at some point you would say to yourself, you know what? I don't have any money left and I'm a millionaire. I mean, that's, to me, that would be a big red flag if I was going broke. And I played Mike, and I had a good career in the NFL where I made a lot of money.
I don't like on paper, dopey. I like to think I would be okay, but I don't know.
Awfully dopey.
I don't know.
Mike, but Plexio Burst has never been the smartest guy anyway. I think that we could all agree on that.
My man shot himself in his leg the guy? With his own gun in a club.
That's what I'm saying. He wouldn't have shot himself in the leg and then lost all of his million. Come on, this guy can't be too smart. I'm going to go out on a ledge and make that assumption. Also, what else we got here, Mike, in the NFL? You know what? I didn't even want to get into this, but once I do bring it up, please consider and don't go full force into it because you understand once I say this. The Eagles declined to visit the White House after winning Super Bowl 59, and I get it. But listen, this is another thing to me that comes down to just entitled people spending and losing their millions. You win a championship, you get a chance to go to the one place in the country that every single football team and baseball team and basketball team and hockey team goes when they win a championship. I call me old school, but I think you should do it. You should just shut up and do it because you're again a role model. Kids look up to you, and again, blowing through your millions. I think that this just kind of goes into that. And Mike, and I have about a half dozen other examples of things that I could bring up. Are these guys? Is it just is that just the way of the United States of America anymore? Is just everybody just entitled?
I don't know how they're entitled by not wanting to go to the White House, by standing by their own convictions. Isn't that what America's all about? Standing by your beliefs?
No, because it has nothing to do with politics. Nothing. It's about when listen, when you win the Super Bowl and you're the MVP, you go to Disneyland. It's just okay, do it. You go and you come home. Did it hurt you? Did it kill you to go to Disneyland? No, it's just something that's done for decades. And again, it should have nothing to do with politics. I think when you bring politics into sports, especially football, it hurts the game.
They have a right. They took a team vote and they said no, and they honored their teammates' wishes. I don't. That's America right there. Do you want to do this? Yes or no? No. Okay, we're not doing it. Yes. Okay, we're going to do it. They took a vote and they honored that vote.
All right, there you go. People at home can make their own opinions. We do have to move on though, Mike, because we only have 10 minutes left. We have a lot of things to get into. 10 minutes, guys. So yes, people can make their own minds up on that. Let me catch up to Yinzer Joe. He says Plex go to okay. No, we already got that one. Man, this is really throwing me off.
I know. I don't know what happened there today.
All right, let's get into this, guys. The Pittsburgh Penguins, they take 2 losses, Mike. 2 losses over the weekend. They come back off of the break. Of course, Sidney Crosby wins the gold. He doesn't bring the gold touch back to Pittsburgh. The Penguins lose 8-3 on Saturday to the Capitals, 5-3 on Sunday to the Rangers. They play the Flyers tomorrow at 7 o'clock. But one good thing they got going on up at the arena is this, Mike. They do now have the beer stick.
Yes.
Have you seen the beer stick at PPG? It's like a hockey stick, and then like the top 2/3 of it you fill with beer.
I'm here for the beer stick, and I'm here for right now. We're sitting, I think, 5th overall in the draft. So keep making the beer sticks. Keep on losing, boys. Let's build this team for the future. I'm down for it.
And look,
you got to drink.
It comes and goes, right? And they're gonna get better, Mike, because they had a bad season. I think that maybe this might be a option for the Steelers. But let's see what they continue to do. Maybe
15
not.
picks in the next three drafts. I like it.
Hockey, that's weird though. You don't really know who it is and where they're from, and are they going to be any good, and what year it'll actually be. But one other thing though, Mike, Marc-Andre Fleury, he passed Roberto Luongo as the second all-time goalie with games played as a goalie in the NHL. Fleury just continues to break and set records. Good for him. Always a fan of the
first ballot Hall of Famer.
You have to be, Mike. He has to be. His numbers are there.
Everything. Now, do they waive the waiting period for him?
So the Penguins. Who cares? He's going to get in. How long is the waiting period in hockey?
3 to 5.
How long?
It's 3 or 5 years after you retire.
I don't rush him in after 1 year. Let the guy wait like everybody else. But he certainly belongs there. Tomorrow, the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, they do face off against the Loudoun United FC. That game's at 12 o'clock. It's kind of cold for soccer, in my opinion. But you know what? They're lucky because it is a heat wave in Pittsburgh. Again, 50 degrees today. Next 4 days is going to be right around the same temperature. So,
dude, I tell you what, when I watch international soccer, I love it when they play the big international tournaments between clubs. You get a team from like Italy that's nice Mediterranean weather, and then they got to go up and play a Scandinavian team, and they play in the snow. I fucking love it. It's comical. Those Norwegian teams are like, oh yeah, this is great. And the little Italians like, God damn it, it's so cold.
In the NCAA, Mike, Pitt only has 4 games left.
That's it.
4 games left in the regular season. And then you have March Madness right around the corner. It'll be before you know it. They'll be wheeling the TVs into the classrooms. Before you know it, getting ready to watch all these games. Pitt, they do drop the game to Notre Dame over the weekend, 76-72. They have 4 games left. Their next game is actually tomorrow at 7 p.m. They take on Georgia Tech. So tomorrow, Mike, there'll be 3 games. 3 games left in the NCAA season, at least for our team. and that tells you that March Madness is
Yeah.
right around the
Dude,
corner.
like this basketball season has flown by. I remember last year we were, had ample pit talk. This year it's just gone by so quick. We haven't had time to talk about them at all.
Absolutely. And also, Mike, go back to hockey
Yeah.
just a second. Nationalism. Look at the role that nationalism played in the
Yeah.
hockey, the midseason tournament this year. It made the hockey All-Star game like a
Yeah.
Super Bowl. Like 1 out of every 4 living Canadians tuned in to the game. 1/4 of every single child, baby, elder, 1 out of every 4 Canadians tuned into that game. And Mike, in that game, it beat the NBA All-Star. It
Yeah.
killed the NBA All-Star weekend. Mike, is nationalism make that much of a difference when it comes down to you're chanting USA, USA, and you're playing another team who has their flag and
Oh
it
yeah.
gets emotional? Does that make for some of the best sports
Oh
on the
yeah. Like
planet?
you what's the
I mean, when it comes down to your home, your country, I mean, this,
what's the Olympics, man? It's wild. The World Cup is the prime example of that, of how in tune everyone gets when it's country versus country, man, because it's national pride at stake. Even like the Finland versus Sweden, those guys and fans were getting into it, like they're having stuff like
if you have your
yeah,
flag on, if you're wearing your flag, you do not want to
yeah,
lose.
yeah, yeah. You
Right?
don't want to lose, and if you lose, like the American hockey team did in Japan, you just tear up the hotel room. Yeah,
Right.
I hated
They're
like
always up to
men's US
something.
hockey ever since then. They started to win me back a little bit this year. Then they end up losing. So I was like, I'm back to being a neutral observer. I'm like Switzerland when it comes to hockey.
What a bad turn. You win the first
And then you
two.
lose that one.
First Canada game must have
You
been
know
the
what?
championship. Yeah.
I watch my real hockey team and I watch my football team lose all the time. Now my country's national team got to lose all the time. I think I'm allowed to be a free agent when it comes to international hockey.
I love the way they handled penalties. I think that would go such a long way in the NHL and bring more fans in. The penalties would kill the show, in my opinion. For fair weather fans that you're trying to bring into like your sport, I think that really because it's a fast paced, slow sport with a 1-0 score being the potential at the end of the game. So that's what I'm saying.
I noticed like online, I've seen a lot of people saying, "Oh my god, I've never watched hockey before. I'm going to watch it now." Like, you guys are in for a rude awakening. You're watching like first line centers in this tournament play fourth line minutes. Now you're going to go watch a game where there's actual fourth liners playing like second line minutes on some of these teams, and it's going to be a totally different brand of hockey. And so, if you're a new convert, be sure to pick some fun teams to watch and not like Nashville or Ottawa. So find a good team to watch.
Absolutely. I just got to see something here. Oh, I seen that. Did you see that Keanu Neal retired?
Yeah, I saw that today. Yeah.
And then also Eric Rowe, the safety, his contract expired.
Yeah.
He's no longer with the Steelers. Just a couple side notes I had down here in the bottom that I missed. Mike, also the Pittsburgh Passion, they kick off on April 26th. So we still have a little bit of time for that, right around draft time there. The women Pittsburgh Passion will be kicking it off against the Tampa Bay Inferno. So we have a little wait on that, Mike. And then also March 28th is when the UFL kicks off. Today is the 24th of February. So a month, basically, we'll be having some more football, spring football. Not as fun as our Steelers, not like the NFL, but any way you slice it, it's football.
I can't wait. I love football. Even if it's bad.
Yeah,
I don't want to say bad football. Bad football is bad football. But by mid-season of the UFL, that football is going to be pretty good.
Let me get Yinzer Joe real quick here, Mike, before we do move on. Yinzer Joe question, do you guys happen to know if the NFL has gotten any feedback, statistics on the Guardian cap the players wear? Do they have more pros or cons? Mike, I hear, what I heard, not a lot, but what I heard is they're not as effective as they thought they were going to be.
I saw that, they went down, like the amount of concussions went down, like percentage-wise they went down, yeah.
I seen the numbers were almost barely changed, but that's two different sources more than likely. I saw that barely any change, didn't make any kind of change, but Mike saw something different. But Mike, why don't you tell us about the website?
The2dumbyinzers.com. We know what we got over there. The blog will be back up today with a fresh mock draft at later today. I'm doing that every Monday until draft season because I like it. And it's something fun for me to do. And I hope you guys like it as well. So check out the2dumbyinzers.com.
Go check it out, everybody. www.the2dumbyinzers.com. That's www.the2dumbyinzers.com. All right, guys, time for question of the day. The trivia of the day, Mike. This is going to have to do with the Penguins. The Penguins. So here we go. Put on your thinking cap. Everybody on the board, everybody at home. Here's the question of the day. Prior to the current streak that the Penguins are on for not making the playoffs, it's more than likely going to be 3 straight seasons. How long was the last Penguins playoff drought? And I'm looking for amount of years. Like this would be 3 years for us now. So question of the day is this: prior to the current streak, how long was the last Penguins playoff drought in years? Take a minute to think that over. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on YouTube. All right, guys, question of the day. Prior to the current streak, of course, everyone knows the Penguins are they were like 18 straight years in a row, 17 straight years in a row they went to the playoffs. Now they're going on their 3rd straight season of not. Question of the day. Prior to the current streak, how long was the longest Penguins playoff drought? I'm looking for number of years or seasons, if you will. Mike, do you have any idea? You want to talk it out?
I'm trying to remember like the time frame because I know Yager left, but I think we still made the playoffs the one year with like Straka, Lang, and Covey. And I just can't remember the time frames. Crosby was there. It took a couple years to make it back to the playoffs. I'm going to say a 6-year drought. 6 season.
6-year drought. Is this your final answer? All right. I'm going to lock you in. All right. Locked in on a 6-year drought. Again, the question of the day is this. Ron Navy on the board saying 5 years. The question of the day is this. Prior to the current streak, how long was the last Penguins playoff drought? Yinzer Joe saying 5 or 6 seasons. Mike said 6. Ron Navy said 5. We'll give an extra a little bit of time. Let the gals put their answer if they would like on the board. Again, the question prior to the current streak, how long was the Penguins' last playoff drought? They went on 17. I think it was 17 years of going to the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm looking for the amount of years of the last droughts they had. All right, Mike, you say 6? Guys on the board say 5 or 6. That's got to be in that ballpark, right?
It's in that area. I think so, yeah.
All right, guys. Prior to the current streak, how long was the Penguins' last playoff drought in seasons or years? The answer, guys, 4.
Oh, wow.
4. From 2002 to 2006, and that was the most since the 80s. In the 80s, they had about a 7 or 8 period window of time when they didn't go to the playoffs. So from the 80s till that point, they went to the they did really well in the playoffs. But 02 to 06, Mike, would be the last playoff drought that we had for 4 seasons.
Not bad. They did a quick turnaround because, my God, you figure you got Fleury first overall, then you had Jordan Stahl in there in the top 4 picks, then Malkin, then Crosby. Yeah, and even before that, you go back, Brooks Orpik was a top 5, top 10 pick on defense as well. So they had some really good drafts. Letang was like a 3rd or 4th round. I
always forget about him, man.
Yeah. And
what a hell
he
of
was
a
great defensive defenseman. He tone setter, just a no nonsense player.
He'll stick you. Yinzer Joe says, and see, this is what I heard, guys, concerning what we said. I know concussions went down because of the kickoff change. That was what I heard. But I heard nothing else. And then the guys, of course,
I did some quick little research. Like you said, Ryan, I saw an article or research pop up saying no, they didn't do anything. I saw one they did, and one was like, it was kind of like a null type situation, or like a slight decrease in impact and blah blah blah. Yeah. So it's one of those things. It's going to take a while till you get the actual results.
And I think it's a personal thing. They shouldn't have any requirements. If the guys want to wear it for their protection, then that'd be the case. Don't force. And again, I don't think that the results are that overwhelming. If they were more overwhelming, you would handle it differently. Like, you know what, guys, we have to figure something out. So, yeah.
Kind of like visors in hockey until you get the actual to a point where they're actually the most effective thing to do, you're not going to enforce it.
Like when I was a kid, they didn't even have
I know,
helmets on. When I
yeah.
watched
And
hockey as a
now
kid,
that now
there
everyone
was
has
a
to have a helmet, and now everyone has to have a visor. I think there's like maybe 2 or 3 that are grandfathered in that don't have visors.
yeah. I think that was it. That Craig McTavish. He went on forever
Yep.
without a helmet for
Yeah.
the Oilers. It seemed like he played
But now,
forever
like
without that
now
helmet.
you're like, yeah, I wouldn't play hockey without a helmet. The way these guys' heads bounce off the ice,
You're
be
right.
stupid,
You're moving 97
right?
miles an hour and you crash another guy's head into
Yeah,
a glass
yeah.
wall. Yeah. What else we got here? Do you have anything, Mike, before we do start getting ready to wrap
I
things
do
up?
not, but I just thank you all again for tuning back in. I love it. Love it.
Yeah, I think we did hit a lot
Yeah,
of
we got a
things
lot of
today.
stuff in.
Again, Pitt back at it tomorrow. They take on Notre Dame. I'm sorry, they take on Georgia Tech at home. And then there'll be only three college basketball games left. I can't believe that went so fast.
Right around the corner.
Here's a quick one. It has nothing to do with us, but Greg Popovich not expected to return to coaching to the Spurs after 29 years. Mike,
Yeah.
29 years is how long he's been coaching that team. That's crazy. But now that I think back, it makes sense. 30 freaking years.
Tim Duncan. Who was the other guy? David Robinson. Thank you. Yeah. Like, my God, some damn good teams that he's coached, man.
He did. He won his share of championships too. So you can't say that he didn't get it
Yeah.
done. Popovich, though, guys, said he is not coming back to return back to coach the San Antonio Spurs after 29
Dude's like
years.
95 years old, man. Hang him up, man. Enjoy retirement, bro.
Yeah, right. I do believe that is everything for me, though. I do want to say thank you to everybody for coming and hanging out and checking us out today. We appreciate each and every one of you. We certainly we couldn't do it without you. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you to everybody on the board. As always, you guys always keep things interesting here on the show, and everybody at home as well. Thank you. Thank you so much. Mike, anything else? Speak now. Forever hold your peace.
No, mock draft will be up later today up on the blog. That's all I got.
All right, go check that out. Go check that out over at the website, everybody. I do want to say that we'll be back tomorrow. First thing to do it all over again at our normal time. It's probably going to be a Finch day. Again, the Derp is still, he's down and out. He was in the board a little bit earlier, but he is on a second bout with the flu. So we hope to get Derpy back as soon as possible. So keep him in your thoughts. But Mike, I believe that's it for me as well, everybody. I hope everybody has a great Monday. I hate even hearing that. Have a great Monday. It's just always so far from the end of the week.
Right?
But have a great Monday, everybody. Stay safe. Enjoy the warmth. Again, here in Pittsburgh, 50 degrees today. I know I sure will. But for Mike in the Steeler Central Mobile Studio, for my